What is up, my little Deinos? Vepsis, your coach of the Helsinki Hydreigons, and we are finally back for the UBL Season 5 Week 1 battle when we go up against Johnny GB and his team being the Oregon Duckletts. Make sure to check him out, his YouTube channel will be down below in the description, just like all of the others in the UBL Season 5, which I'm really excited for as we are coming back as the reigning champion, and this is gonna be the start of a new journey, and hopefully it's gonna be a good one and we can start out with the right foot. This time around, even though last season I think we lost the week 1 battle, which was the only battle that we lost due to me running out of my own timer as I was playing the first time in Generation 8 Wi-Fi. But let's not further ado stall out this any further, and now let's just go and see what Johnny GB brings. His roster you can see also down below in the description. I'll leave a team page of his, and also you can compare it to my own, which I leave it there as well. So he brings Incineroar, Scizor, which is by far the biggest threat, Delmice, URSHIFU, Rapid Strike, so it's the water type, Orbeetle and Clefairy. So no Goodra, no Shiinotic, which is really nice, so my Digger Speed doesn't have to even worry about going for Gunk Shot unless I need to OHKO the Clefairy. And now Scrafty is also a little bit freed up from there. He does bring the potential Sticky Webs with me with the Orbeetle, but I do have Defog on my Noivern, which is gonna be pretty important in this matchup to get rid of those and intend fighting the items. Especially Scizor's item will be quite important for me to tell what it's going to be. But as of a lead, who do I like here the most? I could lead with my Noivern, speaking of it, just to be able to intel the first item. And the things that would force me out would be a potential Choice Scarf URSHIFU with an Ice Punch, but I have a Slowbro to pivot on it. Clefairy I can U-turn into my Copperajah and go for a big hit from there if I need to. And yeah, I think I like Noivern overall as my lead. So good luck and have fun to Johnny, as we said in Discord as well, but just in sake of video I always like to do that. And let's see what how he's gonna be designed to lead on this game. He has several options, cause he had I think almost every single member barring the Delmice has a momentum move. So if he wants to lead with a mod that gets access to that, he had several options for that. But he does lead with the Orbeetle, which I'm quite happy with, cause I get to lead with my Noivern turn 1. And let's see what he has. He has heavy duty boots on it, and he's gonna be frisking my heavy duties as well. So nice boots from each side, I guess what we can say from that as a summary turn 1. I think I'll just go for the U-turn, because if the Clefairy comes in, I can get a massive momentum from that. So I'm gonna be going for the U-turn. I don't anticipate him to stay in when I can easily go for the Hurricane. I think it would be too big of a risk for him. If he does stay in, I'll just bring my Noivern back in. He does stay in. Interesting play. Interesting play from his side. He probably does go for the Psychic or Sticky Webs right from the get-go. So what I could do here is that I just go into my Copperajah, I think. I do want to keep the Chopper Berry potential intact, but I think Copperajah is still my best bet to come on in. If he goes for the Sticky Webs, I can easily just swap back into my Noivern and defog away. He does go for the Sticky Web, so this is fine by me at this point of time. And what I'll do is that I'll either double or I go straight for the attack here first. I think I'll double into my Noivern, just to see if he has body press on this thing, or if he does swap into the Incineroar, cause I'd rather get these Sticky Webs right away immediately. And he does stay in, cause I was slower than him, so he would have swapped out first. But let's see what he does go for. He might just go for the body press as he does. So we're gonna be taking this just fine. And I can go for the default, because this is gonna lower the evasionness of this Orbeetle. And then afterwards I can go for the Hurricane. If he does swap out, that's fine by me. The Clefairy should not be the biggest annoyance to me. But I do have the annoying part, I guess, about the Copperajah is that it's so heavily dedicated to deal with the Scizor. And even the Scizor with Choice Bandit is still very scary, and that's why I have Chopper Berry, just to be able to at least pivot around it once. But even then it's gonna be a little bit of issue. So now he does bring this thing in, and I'll go for the U-turn. not spend too much time with this play. He might go for the Stealth Rose, because this is his rocker that he brought. And one of the few rockers that I think he even had on his roster in general, besides the Dactio. But he does swap out again. And now he does go into the Incineroar. I'm not sure if he expected a double, or what was the initial thought on there. Or he didn't want to take any unnecessary damage. But this is lovely for me, because this... Okay, that was a critical hit. I was wondering, is this offensive Incineroar that he took so much from that? But this gives me a free Diggersby right here. So I can potentially just go for the Earthquake straight out first. Or I can go for the U-turn and weaken down that Dhelmise. Because after one U-turn, I believe the Dhelmise should be in a range of the following hit. Yeah, I'll go for the U-turn. Because this hit the Orbital, I get a good damage on the Dhelmise as well. If he does swap into that. If he goes into the Orbital, it's gonna take huge damage. It might even die to this U-turn, depending on his spread. So, we are gonna be going for the U-turn here. I think versus his roster, he's gonna be thinking that I click Earthquake, because it's a really free versus his roster. He swaps into Clefairy. I could have 2-hit KO'd this thing. That's crazy play. But it worked out for him. So we're gonna be doing a lot of damage to him. We did 25% with a resisted hit into an Eviolite more like Clefairy. So that's pretty nice for us. I think here I just go into my Copperajah. And we're gonna be clicking the Heavy Slam right from the get-go. I'm really annoyed that he didn't make the swap that I thought he would. Maybe at this point I should be playing a little bit more straightforward than I have done thus far. But we go for the Heavy Slam. This is gonna be, well, Incineroar will take this well, because it's gonna be able to resist this. Oh, he's Reflect on this. Okay, interesting. I don't expect it to be likely at this point. Like, it's gonna be Eviolite still, but this is gonna be doing still a decent damage to him. Yeah, that did a good amount of damage. I like seeing that. So, from here, I think I can go for another one again. Because if I can get rid of this Clefairy, it's gonna free up my Noivern quite nicely. Because he doesn't have any other fairies, any other, like, a good answer to my Noivern in itself. And a Flying Resist, what I tried to say. So, he does manage to get rid of my Chopo Berry, which leaves me vulnerable to the Scizor. But I have my ways to revenge kill it still, and I'm still good amount of health that I probably still take one hit unless it's Choice Bandit in itself. And if it's gonna be Choice Bandit, I can pivot around with my Noivern and at least intensify that item. But the Scizor is the biggest threat to me. I need to see what kind of set it's going to be. And here comes the URSHIFU, which I think makes most sense to be Scar, but if it's going to be Bandit, it's gonna barely avoid to be 2-hit KOing me with a U-turn in itself. But my obvious play is going to be Slowbro. There's no reason not to do anything else at this point. Now it's up to him to call that out and try to take advantage of it. And we're gonna be seeing from here what kind of damage he can do to us as he does click the U-turn. And that looks to me to not to be then Choice Bandit. So it might be definitely the Choice Scarf set, which would be the Close Combat, the Rapid Strike or whatever, not Rapid Strike, I don't know what is the signature move called, but the Water move, it's going to have Ice Punch for Noivern, and then it's going to be having a U-turn for the Initiative. So, that's probably the set with the Choice Scarf that he's going to be running with. He does go into the Incineroar, which I don't mind, because I have a Clobo Berry on this. So I could weaken this thing quite nicely, or I can get a slow momentum. I like the slow momentum, I'm gonna slack off first. It's one of the two. I'll go for the slow momentum, because this gives me free switching to my Diggersby. As he does go for the Flame Charge. He might be weakness policy on this thing, okay. Interesting, but I go for the Teleport. I'll go for the Teleport, and I believe either my Zeraora can outspeed it, or I can go into my Noivern first. And go for the U-turn and weaken it down even further, and intensify his item yet again is important. So I think I'll go for that. I don't have to worry about Stealth Rocks anymore, so if I lose my boots, it's not the biggest deal in the world. He is heavy duty boots on this, so I don't have to worry about a weakness policy set by any means. So I go for the U-turn yet again. Try to keep your initiative off and weaken this thing down. He might outspeed me, because I did not speed creep this thing for like a Adamant or Jolly, and I'm not even... I think Noivern can outspeed it if I proper speed investment for that. But I didn't expect him to be flame charge. But we do still manage to outspeed him, so that's pretty nice for me. As I can go into my Scrafty, if I'm being perfectly honest, get the Intimidate off. And the Gudra didn't show up, so I can definitely take the knockoff obviously very well. And I get his attack lowered down, so this should be a solid play. By all means, whatever he would be doing. He does go for the Duckletts Lariat. He doesn't have knockoff on it. Interesting. That might be for potential setup sets that I could have. But either way, we take that obviously very well with thanks to Intimidate and being quad resisted. And the Reflect does wear off. Now, what is your switching to me? If I'm being perfectly honest, you don't really have much for me. I could go for the knockoff first. Or I go for the Train Punch. I think I'll go for the Train Punch just to address the threat in front of me. And see what he goes into. He does go for the into URSHIFU, so if I knock this off, it would have been really lovely. But we get some damage off on this thing, which I definitely take. And we get ourselves back to full. So now I can utilize my Scrafty for the Incineroar as well. But I'm gonna be going back into my Slowbro, which is essentially back still at full health. So it's not gonna be weakening down that easily by the URSHIFU. So we're gonna be doing the same play yet again. And see what he's gonna be doing. He does go for the U-turn yet again, expecting the Slowbro. And we're gonna be see who does he go into. I would expect at this point it to be Delmise. I think that's the... It's either Delmise or the Orbeetle. It could also be the Scizor, honestly. He has several options to go into at this point. I don't think the Incineroar might come in anymore. He might try something else. And he does go into the Delmise. Okay, so I will use my Scrafty as a pivot for this as well. For the Ghost type move and get the Intimidate off. And I get a free knockoff on something. And getting rid of any item would be really nice. Like if URSHIFU has to come in on me yet again like it did last time, that means that it loses the Choice Scarf, and then my Zeraora and Noivern provides me the speed control over it. So I don't have to always worry about the Slowbro able to beat it 1v1 defensively wise. So we go into this Scrafty, get an Intimidate off once again on this. And he does go for the Poltergeist, which is the new signature move. Well, not signature move, it's the new Ghost type move that we got access to now very recently with the DLC, which is a really cool move. As you can see, it's going to show the item that opponent has if it's holding anything, and then it's gonna be 110 base power move as a Ghost type move and a physical. So it's a really cool move, and it's something that I'm a big fan in Draft League format. And we're gonna be going for the knockoff. He is not going to be Colberberry. What kind of item he was holding? Okaberry, okay. He has Toxic on this, but little does Johnny GP know that I have a tendency to run Restock. So Toxic is not necessarily the worst case in the world for me by any means when I have Restock specifically on this thing as a form of recovery. But it works out on this case when he goes for the Toxic. And I'll just go for the knockoff again. I have no reason not to click anything else. And we can basically get rid of one of his ground resist besides the Orbeetle that he even has left. So this should be pretty solid. He's gonna be going for the Anchor Shot, which does decent amount of damage, but that doesn't seem to be adamant nature by any means. So this looks to be like a defensive variant. Him holding the Okaberry was definitely for Zeraora's fire type coverage that I could have packed on it. But we go for the knockoff again and basically be able to eliminate this thing. Or if he tries to preserve this for whatever reason, I still get chance to eliminate the item from something else. But I do expect him to stay in and let this thing go down and then give himself the free swap into something else. And that's what he ends up doing. He loses his Delmise in the progress, so now the only thing that is going to be able to stop my Digger Speed is going to be that Orbeetle, and I can U-turn on it every single time and potentially kill it. And if I get rid of the Orbeetle, everything else is gonna be dropping for Earthquake. Like, URSHIFU might be able to live it. Then again, it already has taken Drain Pass. It might even, like, URSHIFU even might not even take that thing. Or, like, a Choice Bandit Adamant Earthquake for my Digger Speed in itself. So that thing in the back is looking very, very, very threatening to him. When we get step by step closer to the moment that he doesn't have good answers to my ground stab. But What does he go into? He does go into the URSHIFU once again. Now, again, I could do the similar play as I've been doing every single time, but I don't see a reason not to really do it again. Like, if he clicks U-turn, so be it. I don't want to lose my Scrafty when it's a very valuable asset still for his Incineroar, besides my Noivern and Slowbro. Not my Noivern mainly and Slowbro with Colberberry in itself, but he does go for the U-turn again. Don't really mind this too much. And we're gonna see who does he go into at this point. If he goes into Scizor, he's tempted to click U-turn, so that should give me a chance to not lose a Mon to it immediately. Because I can swap into Copperajah. And he does go into the Incineroar again. Interesting. Interesting, because now I can easily just go into my Scrafty yet again. Which I will do, like I have Colberberry on this. Then again, I could go for the teleport, get my Diggersby in for free. Ooh. I think I swap into my Scrafty still. I'll keep the Colberberry still intact just a little bit longer. While I still have Scrafty in the back, I might as well utilize it still for this. Cause I need to have my Slowbro for the URSHIFU, so I don't want to be too reckless with it, even though I can take the Knockout with it, or the Darkest Lair that he would go for. He does go for the Sword Dance. Okay. Alright, we can still, I would think we can still take a hit. If he goes for the Flare Blitz, he's gonna be taking a shitload of recoil. And I already know my Noivern can outspeed this thing. I have Zeraora with close combat that should be able to finish this thing off. But we go for the Drain Punch and proceed from there. He might be able to pick me up with if he has Flare Blitz, but he takes the recoil then, and then I can revenge kill it from there quite easily. So let's see what he does. He might try to go for the Flame Charge to gain speed as well. But he does swap out, okay. Don't really understand that play in itself, that why you commit to Sword Dance and then you decide to swap out. That doesn't make sense to me. But you know what, we take that. That's a little bit of chip. It's not gonna do almost, well, it did like barely the HP movement. That might have done like 1 or 2%. So never mind, I don't even call that chip. That did bump kiss a little bit. So either way, the Orbido is gonna be now in, and honestly, my play is still Noivern. I don't think my play should be changing at all here. I guess what he was able to gain out of that play is that he was able to rack up a 6% damage on me with the Toxic in itself on the second turn when I had to take the recall. So I guess he got something out of the turn, but still very awkward way to approach those following plays. But now he does go for the Body Press, which I'm fine with. And now I can go for the Hurricane straight out. Because nothing really wants to take this hit anymore, because the Clefairy is gone. And we do go for the Hurricane and we land it, and it's going to be taking out the Orbital. Beautiful. Oh, it's a critical hit. I don't know if that matters. I have a good amount of special attack investment, like almost max special attack to be honest. I don't know the roll. If it was a roll, I'll probably pop it right now to see if that crit mattered. If I don't pop it out, then it didn't matter at all. And then it just only looks that bad at first glance. But either way, we get rid of that thing, and now the Scizor comes in. Okay, so how do I want to deal with you? I think what I want to do here is that I hard swamp it to Copperajah and not give him any freedom to click moves here. If he goes for the Sword Dance, he has to respect heavy the Heat Crash on me. So I put him in a position where he has to now attack me. Now if he has Superpower, it's gonna be doing shitload, but then my Zeraora will be able to finish this thing off. So now comes to the question, does he have Superpower for me, or is he packing some other coverage that not necessarily hit me super effectively? And losing the item earlier means that the Knockout won't be doing as much either. Well, let's see what he does here. My play is still always a Heat Crash at this point. And go from there. He does swap out. This means definitely that he doesn't have Superpower on it. Okay, beautiful. Copperajah can then deal with most likely at this point with the biggest threat that I have to deal with here. So what I can do here is that I go back to the Slowbro. he can try to do this back and forth U-turn. He has only clicked U-turn every single time. I have no reason to do anything else at this point. So we're going to Sean, our slow bro, which has not really got to do too much yet, but we are still gonna be... Ooh, that did a lot. That was a critical hit, wasn't it? Yeah, that was a critical hit. Unfortunate. Sean, you have to do a little bit better than that. You have been doing just fine thus far as we have been playing this, but that's not what we need at this point, getting those critical hits. Sean, be a little bit more focused on this. We still have a lot of things to be work on here before we can call this as a win. But now he does go into the Incineroar, and now I think I always go into this Crafty once again, because I get the Intimidate off on him. I don't need it for anything else. So I'll just do that and proceed from there. But that's a good sign that the Scizor didn't come in to go for the superpower yet. Maybe for some reason he's not willing to go for the sweep yet, and he might still have it. But to me it seems very likely that he's still... Okay, he does go back into this. But I don't mind this double. I get my regen, I get my Intimidate on this guy. Granted, I don't get any recovery on my Scrafty, but the leftovers and Toxic kinda navigate each other, so I should be still fine. So, I'm still fine on this sequence, and I think on timer-wise, he cannot beat me either. Yeah, I have 6 minutes, you have 4 minutes. I don't mind this sequence right now at all, so... I think what I do is that I go back to the Slowbro. I was debating a little bit if I go to the Northern and mix things up, but I won't mix things up. There's no reason not to. Go into my Slowbro, and we're gonna be seeing that he does go for the close combat. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful, because now we get initiative at this point. We get a slow teleport on this, which would be quite lovely. If he does stay in, I don't mind it at all. We go for the teleport. This is the opportunity that I've been waiting for my Diggersby. Okay, he does swap out. Who do you go into? You go into the Incineroar, get the Intimidate on the Slowbro, but Sean doesn't matter. Sean is like, adios, amigo. I'm gonna be getting my buddy, good old pal, Vaisky the Diggersby in, and we're gonna be killing something. Nothing will be taking this Earthquake. We are adamant choice padded, as I've been saying thus far. I've been waiting and anxiously hoping that I can click this move and I don't have to worry about any kind of resistance or anything in the back. Now I'm killing something. Now I'm straight out killing something. This Incineroar will die at least 3 times. I would like... He swaps this thing out. Who are you swapping into? Scizor! Oh, give me this Scizor. This thing won't... This might live it. Depending on your spread, you might live this, but there's a good chance you don't. Let's see. Come on, Diggersby. There we go. The biggest threat to my team is gone. Get that thing out of my sight. That a boy, Diggersby. That's what I love to see, man. Oh, I missed using this thing. This is probably one of my favorite monsters to use in Draft League format. And in Generation 8, people might be thinking like, Diggersby is not all that much. It lost Return and Frustration, but it doesn't need it, man. And I'm gonna be showcasing that throughout this season, that just making sure. It was a URSHIFU. I'm stumbling on my words, forgetting what was in front of me. I'll swap into my Slowbro every single time on this URSHIFU. We don't worry about the water URSHIFU at all this season. We have one of the best counters to it, and he does go for the U-turn once again. I don't mind this at all. And at this point, I'll pretty much just go for a slow teleport on this. If you go for the Darkest Lariat, I don't mind it at all. Literally at all at this point. And I can go into just slow teleport into my Diggersby. And I think we should be perfectly fine from there and get another kill for it. So we're gonna be going for the teleport, see what he does. Oh buddy, oh pal, oh you're not gonna have any fun in Incineroar. Say hello once again, as we are gonna be adios ×2. This second time Slowbro is getting himself out of there and bring his good buddy Diggersby in, and nothing is taking this once more. This thing dies, all the URSHIFU dies, I don't care. One of them is going down. Diggersby is here to claim kills, and this is going to be a season. If you're gonna be following through this season, you're going to get to see how underrated the wall breaker that is Diggersby is still in the Draft League format, even during this generation. Holy shit. This thing is insane, man. I love having this thing. I picked this round 3 for a reason. I knew there was a thing like Mamos 1 on the table, which objectively would be a better offensive ground type, but for me, I prefer Diggersby, and you're gonna be seeing throughout this season why that's the case. And we are gonna be swapping to our Slowbro. There is no reason not to. There was one job that he needed to do, and it's still unfinished. So Sean, come back in it. This is the one job you have. Oh, you go for the... Okay, we get the... He gets the thumbnail. That's what he goes for there. Like, if anything, he gets his thumbnail. It's gonna be a critical hit. But look at Sean. Sean is like, that's a crit. I don't even feel it, man. I barely felt it. That was a barely any kind of Mostico bite. Even Mosticos would be a little bit more annoying with their hits. But we go for the Psychic, and that is going to be good game to Johnny GB. This battle does not necessarily showcase at all how good of a player he can be in a Draft League format. He hasn't played Draft League format since the last season ended, so he might be still a little bit rusty. And in fairness, when I look at his roster, I think it can be better. So if he just makes some changes, I'm sure he's gonna be bouncing back. But what a way to start off the season for the Helsinki Hydreigons as your defending champions. We are gonna be cleaning out this game with a 6-0 fashion. Couldn't ask for any more for my week 1 battle. That's my squad, man, right there. I'm really excited for my team this season, and you're gonna be hopefully enjoying it as well. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for the week 2 battle when we go up against Root and his New Jersey Pro Bats. And until then, like I said, thank you all for watching, and I'm gonna be seeing you guys later.